So welcome everybody to our community call. And this week we've been doing this for, I don't know, 2 years now, just reviewing different communities throughout Eretz Israel for people who are living in Eretz Israel, thinking about a new community or making Aliyah and coming in and saying, where are we going to live? So we get these calls all the time. So we just keep going from community to community and meeting all new kinds of neighbors and people and figuring out what works for which people and where is a good place for people to land. So tonight we're going to review Katzrin, and we're going to meet some locals who are living there and hear what they have to say and how their experience is going, and talk about schools and shuls and lifestyle. And we're going to meet a bunch of people, and then we're going to also talk to Marcy, our rep in the north, who's going to give us an overview of some real estate opportunities in the area. So welcome, and thank you for being with us. And I think we're going to start with Esther. Esther, you're on the call, yeah?
Esther.
I am.
Esther, I have
There are a
Bergman.
few Esters.
Made me a coffee.
Oh gosh.
Best
Okay.
coffee I had in this
Esther
time.
Berghoff, if we could,
Like
I'm not
yesterday
sure
or
if I'm
something.
saying your name properly. If we could start with you guys and just let us know how you came to the area and what you think and anything about your experience living there.
Okay. We love Katzrin. We found it actually with Yad Shtayim.
Wow, that's great.
For real estate up north, and it just seemed like the most practical. And also it was a walking town. We didn't want to be in a moshav where we had to drive for everything. So it just combined everything that we love. We love the north, so there was no question about what part of Israel. But Katzrin really spoke to us, and we have not regretted it for a minute. We've been, we made Aliyah in 2016. We actually bought our house in 2015. So we've been there a while, but we do split our time. We are in America half the year and Israel half the year. And
Nice.
still working out the kinks, but it's great. I mean, for us, it was the perfect solution. I mean, my opinion is why go to Florida for half the year if you can go to Israel? It doesn't make any sense to me.
Good for you. We got to get those Floridians into Israel.
Yes, absolutely. I guess they need some golf courses.
I think that's a great idea. Okay, so tell me about, like, are you meeting on any contemporaries, and tell me a little bit about like your lifestyle up there. You're working, you're leisuring, you're traveling. What's life like?
Yeah, well, we're retired, and we actually only feel retired in Israel because in the States we have so much we have to take care of. We are in Or HaTzafon, the shul. It's a young minyan. We're very happy with it. It suits us much more than anything else. We're not datim, so this shul had enough of flexibility and tolerance that it worked out very well for us.
Perfect.
We are big hikers. We like to get out and go hiking in Israel and Katzrin, the Golan, wherever you turn, whichever direction you go in, you can take a hike.
Nice.
So that spends a fair amount of time doing that, and we love our house, and we have lots of fruit trees and olive tree and pecan tree, and so that keeps us busy also. We're just happy.
Okay, well, happy is really good. Not everybody picks something on Yad Shtayim and ends up loving their home and fitting in and finding a life and building a life and being happy. So kol hakavod.
Yeah,
it sounds like
absolutely.
a home run.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So thank you so much for joining us. And if you stay on, there might be some
My
questions
husband,
later.
Hugh, I added
What?
on. My husband Hugh is the add-on.
Oh, please do.
He's Hugh, Hugh.
Okay. Okay, great. All right. I think we're gonna go on to our next contestant. Karen Eleazar. Are you with us? Is
Hi,
Karen?
Laura.
Okay.
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, Karen.
Hi.
How are you?
Hi, good. Thank God. We actually, funnily enough, we moved to Katzrin from the same community as Esther and Hugh.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yes. So we had been living in the States previously, but before that we had been in Israel. So we had experienced the Makaz and we knew that the Makaz wasn't for us. So we really wanted to move north, and Katzrin seemed like a great landing spot. And we're very happy that we chose Katzrin.
Nice. You have kids in school, you participate in the community. Tell us a little about your lifestyle there.
Okay, I have the kids in grade school and in the Ganem in Katzrin. And I'm actually the Anglo rep in the Ministry of Education here in Katzrin. So I help everyone who has grade school children coming to Katzrin. I help them with school registration, figuring out what schools are available, communication with the teachers, communication with the staff. It's a fairly new position. And as the Anglo community here in Katzrin is growing, they saw a need for it. So I've stepped in to fill that role, and I've gotten a lot of great feedback so far. I think the community here really needed it, and I've helped a lot of people register for
Amazing.
schools, sign up for things, all kinds of, resources that were needed. Some more
Advanced.
escorting. Yeah,
Great.
exactly.
They have anything there for special needs kids or not so much?
So it's growing. Currently, we have one special needs class in a mainstream school.
Mhm.
We're hopefully opening a second class this upcoming year. But for the most part, children who need special needs are being bused to a neighboring school, which is a half an hour away.
Okay.
And that's slowly changing as Katzrin grows. Then the schools here will also grow, and we will have more special needs classes here in Katzrin.
Amazing. And what about high school?
In town, we have 2 high schools, and actually next year we'll be opening a third, which is really exciting. We have a secular high school for boys and girls. We have girls Ulpana, which this year opened a middle school, so it's 7th grade through 12th grade. And God willing, this upcoming year we'll also be opening a boys yeshiva at the Mechina in town, which will be starting with 9th grade, and we'll be slowly adding to it as the years go on.
Okay, fantastic.
Those are all day schools. I should say those are all day schools. There's also pnimiot in the area.
Okay, so there's a lot of opportunity there for all different kinds of people.
Yes, yes.
Okay, amazing. And also, do you go to the same shul as Esther, or you go to a different shul?
No, we have an interesting background story. We actually keep Yemenite minhag at home because my husband is Baal Tshuva through a Yemenite community.
Amazing.
So there are
Great.
2 Yemenite shuls in town, and we frequent one of them. There's a very beautiful Yemenite synagogue on the edge of town, and we daven there. But there's no lack of synagogues here in Katzrin. There's 2 predominantly Anglo minyanim. There's a strong Ashkenazi minyan. There's plenty of Adot Mizrach. Whatever you're looking for, you have here in Katzrin,
Okay,
despite its small
amazing.
size.
Okay, all right. I appreciate that. That's amazing. Okay, next contestant. I think we have another Esther Silber Schachter. Yes? Hi, Esther. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, thank God.
So what can I tell you? We've been in Katzrin for 9 years.
Oh, wow. Okay, you're really been there a while.
Yeah. We didn't originally think we were coming to the Golan, but the Golan ended up being the right place for us. So we came here. It was much, much smaller when we first got here. There were a lot fewer English speakers in town. And a lot in town. Our kids have kind of grown up here, and they really did that because they were really, really, really happy with the lifestyle that they were able to lead here with all the open spaces and the freedom, and they could bike everywhere. And then
Wait, hold on. Sorry, Esther, one sec.
journey,
I'm hearing a little bit of an echo. Is there like another
joining
somebody
the
on?
local, cycling team, and he's been cycling with. Yeah.
Sorry, Esther, is there
There's
another,
nobody on the
anyone?
computer, just my Chromebook is a little iffy.
I think we lost the audio.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. I was just hearing a bit of an echo.
Okay. I because I'm using a Chromebook
Laura, it
and
might
my
help if we
headset.
ask everyone who's not speaking to turn their microphones on mute.
Mute. Yes, if everybody can mute yourselves, that maybe that'll help.
Okay, let's try again. Can you hear me better now? Okay. So we had some really interesting opportunities that presented themselves here in Katzrin. Our son got really into cycling and he joined the local professional cycling team, and he's cycling with Olympic athletes, which is not something you're going to get everywhere. It's just something that's really cool about Katzrin. And he was able to train to be a cycling madrich during Corona, and now he leads the local food at the local mass. In addition to serving in the army. It's
incredible.
We really like it. Yeah. We find that there are opportunities. You take what you can get here and you find your opportunities. So that's what we're all about. That's kind of why we started the show that we started, which is, or it's a phone that Esther mentioned. And we just kind of try to do things like that whenever we can. So take what we
Nice.
can, give what we can.
And is there everything like shopping? You do your food shopping local, clothing shopping. How does that go?
That's a really good question. So clothing shopping, we don't really have so much locally. You can get the basics here. If you're out of underwear or socks, or you need a t-shirt, you can certainly go get that. If you want a fancy dress for your daughter's wedding, you're gonna need to go somewhere else. But it's really not hard to go to Rosh Pina or Tveria or even Spot, where there are plenty of shopping options. Groceries you can get locally all you want. You can also order online. It's not a problem. From Rami Levy or Shufersal, they both deliver here. We haven't had a hard time finding what we need. We really think it's fine. So.
Very nice. So how far is it from Spot?
It's a 40-minute drive from here to the top spot. That's where our business is located, so I'm pretty familiar with that drive. Yeah.
Okay, very nice. Okay, amazing. Okay, thank you so much for joining us. And I think the next person up is Ari. Hi, how you doing?
Great, thank you. Wonderful to be here tonight. So, and I
Is that you?
someone has
everybody
a lot
mute?
of background noise.
Okay, hang on. Who else? Nope. Just me and you, and that wasn't me. I'll try it. Okay, go ahead. Let's hear about life for you in Katzrin.
Okay, so we're a family. We're a family of 6, and we came to Katzrin about 9 years ago after my postdoctorate in the U.S. I'm Israeli before that, and so is my wife. She lived with me for a while in Israel and in the Jerusalem area, and then we went to the States on my postdoctorate, and then we came back here to the north because that's where I was offered a position. So my position is not in Katzrin, it's in Kiryat Shmona, but I manage just fine with public transportation. It's about an hour door to door, and public transportation is still somewhat limited, but it's improving. It's not as bad as it used to be. So there's actually quite a potential of growth here in Katzrin, and then that's something that needs to be mentioned. It is becoming more accessible. It is becoming bigger. There's more houses, more neighborhoods going up, more businesses, more government buildings and so on. It's actually in a sort of a swing of development. They hope to increase its size by about a factor of 2 in the next decade or so. And so there's a lot of new lots being, given to the public. You can pay for the development, and then you can build your own dream home, with your own plans and your own architect and everything. So it's a possibility. There's also a possibility to get a place that's already built by a contractor. So there's a lot of growth here, and there's plans for the train line to continue going north towards Kiryat Shmona. And once it reaches, Machanaim, Rosh Pina, it will make Katzrin a lot more accessible to the central parts of the country, which will, decrease commute times and will certainly bring up property values.
Sure.
So that's as far as plans. I mean, it's of course not up to us, but that's just the background that you should be aware of. Okay, we have 4 kids between the ages of 16 and 10. They all learn in different schools. Only one, I mean, 2 of them learn in Katzrin, but they're also in different schools. And so it just depends on the character of the child, the student, what fits them best. And so if you have questions later on, regarding schools, I can certainly tell you about our experience with the different schools here and characterize them the best we can. Now, beyond that, regarding the makeup of Katzrin, demographic, it's quite mixed. Okay, some of the population is is fairly typical, peripheral Israeli population, and there's a lot of retirees of the military and police and so on and so forth. There's also a large Russian-speaking sector. Many of them also, elderly, but also some younger families who are Russian speakers. There's a growing English-speaking component. It was quite small when we moved here about 9 years ago. It's been growing considerably, so that now we don't even know everybody who's an English speaker. I run into people who are English speakers, and I don't know who they are. So that's kind of a first. And it's somewhat likely you'll find your niche if you're. Depends on what you're looking for. It's not homogenous. It's not monolithic like a lot of the religious yeshuvim are. There's no committees of acceptance to go through. Okay, it's a much more comprehensive profile of Israeli society up here. Okay, for better and for worse. It depends what you're looking for. And the same goes with the schools and the population there. The same goes with everything you encounter. And we chose Katzrin because it was recommended to us, but also because it was big enough to have most of the services that you need. This was also mentioned before, right? You don't have to drive everywhere. You have, a selection of, stores, grocery stores. You have medical clinics. You have a bank, only one bank, but you still have it, so you can have an account here, and so on. I mean, there's some government offices, serving the public. Ministry of Interior and so on. You can get your passport renewed without driving somewhere else. Of course, as with any place here in the north, some opportunities you do have to go farther to get to them, be it for more specialized medical care or for specialized educational opportunities for your children. Okay, so I would say that overall it's a wonderful place for young families. Katzrin is. Okay, so it's a place where kids can pretty much run around all over town without too much concern. It's fairly safe, and the kids have freedom and space. Okay, again, I have to add that for many kids, when they become teenagers, when they have specialized interests, when they want to learn something at a higher level, they will have to go somewhere else to study it, and maybe even quite far. I think that Esther can, she's nodding, so she can verify that. Her daughters are very gifted dancers, and they have to go quite far for their studies nowadays. And so that is more or less the background. And again, I'll stay here and I'll be happy to answer any more specific questions. So I emphasize the young families as a good, a good phase of life to be if you're living in Katzrin. Not so much when you're, let's say young singles. I wouldn't necessarily recommend Katzrin for that crowd. Okay, there's not too much happening here. It is a sleepy town. Okay, there might be something that can be called a pub. Okay, there might be, but we don't know how long it's going to last. So far, the record hasn't been great. Places like that have opened here and closed. Teenagers generally wander around the streets, and all we hope for is that they stay out of trouble. But they are a little bored here. They have to go elsewhere for their fun. So anyway, so I'll stop my fairly lengthy diatribe at this point, and please ask me questions if I'll be happy to
No, you
answer.
did a great job. You're hired. That was an amazing overview. I feel like we got a lot of little bit of flavor and taste and understanding of what's going on in the community, and I really appreciate that. Kim, are you working or?
I don't know. Can you hear
Or if
me?
I could just
Yes,
add
we
a few
can.
points.
Welcome.
What a nice. I am so sorry. I really don't know what happened there. I just fiddled around a bit and yay. Okay. I'm so sorry about that, everybody. Hi. And I'm sorry I missed some of you. I did hear it. And it sounds like such an incredible community. I was up in Katzrin a long, long time ago. And it was just such a breathtaking, the greenery, the views are just sensational. And we have been, I know Devorah did the introduction, but for the last 2.5 years, we've been showcasing communities, and we really want to be able to use this platform for people to really get information and hear from people who are living on the ground. You can read so much really, online, but to really meet people, that's really what it's all about. And during Corona, we had actually several people who moved to some of the neighborhoods that we had showcased on our channel. So we know that Katzrin is becoming more and more popular, and we really wanted to hear from people in the community who represent everybody. So I'm so grateful for everybody for coming on. And I don't know, do we have any more speakers who are from Katzrin?
I'd like to add a few points.
Hi,
in
Karen.
addition
How
to what
are
Ari
you?
said. Hi, Kim. So in terms of opportunities for specialized education here in Katzrin, there is an enrichment program where the children, like most children across the country, will take a test for in Kita Bet. And if they qualify, they join this enrichment program and are bused to Kiryat Shmona, to the Tel Chai, actually the university where Ari works. And there's they go either twice a week after school, or I think it's twice a week after school and once a week instead during a school day, depending on what they qualify for. And they receive an enrichment program through there. And recently the local college, OLO, was combined with Tel Chai. So we're getting more and more chugim, specialized chugim for children here in Katzrin. And also starting next year, there's enough funding that we have a program going on through the local matnas where every child will receive a chug for free. So I'm really proud of our town for being able to provide that for everyone. And in addition to, Ari touched on real estate. So it used to be that you would be able to get a plot and you can build whatever sort of home, up until X amount of square meters, you could build a home on that plot. Today, plots are very, very difficult to come by. And it is my understanding that the next neighborhood being built is going to be all done through a specific kablan. And everyone will have to purchase homes in that neighborhood through that kablan. We are slated for 2 or even 3 more neighborhoods after that. And we have yet to see if those neighborhoods will be plots for lottery the way it has been in the past, or if it will be plots, built by a kablan, and then people will have to purchase through a kablan.
And that process is about sometimes between 2 to 5 years, depending on the status of the land. Some of the land up there is agricultural land that has to be changed for zoning for residential. That's something that we can cover on a little bit later. Did we talk about, I think, Ari, you may have mentioned local transportation within Katzrin itself. Are there local buses?
There are buses that go from Katzrin to other places, and they circulate in Katzrin before they go out. So it's very often, people actually just jump on them and use them inside Katzrin without going out.
And the nearest town over to Katzrin, there's like a bus that takes you there as well. You can get onto a bus and get there.
The closest town to Katzrin, well, it depends on the size of the town, but I think the closest town that is bigger than Katzrin is Chatzor. Okay, so there are buses about once an hour on the average, or maybe a little less than an hour, depends on the time of day, that will take you to Chatzor, and then either to Chatzor or to Kiryat Shmona, and towards that area, towards the 90. The 90 is the major artery connecting the north of the country to the south. So it's basically that's like the lifeline. You need to get to that if you want to go pretty much anywhere. So so there are buses towards the 90 about once an hour.
And there are direct buses to Tveria.
There are direct buses to Tveria, which is like the bigger town in the area. And towards Kiryat Shmona, it's a little trickier, but with two buses, with a stopover, it's not too bad. You can get there as
And
well.
also, I don't know if this was brought up, please forgive me, but what about the health providers? Is everybody there? Is there Maccabi, Clalit, Mochedet? Are you able to join any kupa when you're there? Like what?
I believe there's I don't know if they're all there. They're all here. Esther should know it, actually.
We don't have Milchedet.
We
Right,
have Chloe,
exactly.
Maccabi, and Leumit. They are talking about bringing Mochadet here. I know that somebody moved here recently. They were allowed to get some services through Maccabi as Mochadet patients, but you have to speak with Mochadet to get issued for that. It's not automatic.
Okay, and
Maccabi has a new building which has a lot of in-house services. You can get speech therapy, physical therapy in-house. Clalit is trying to compete with that. They recently renovated their branch, and they're also trying to offer in-house physical therapy. A lot of specialized therapies, like Esther and Ari touched upon, you have to travel. I like to tell people we have one of everything in Katzrin, but if you're looking for variety, it requires some traveling. But the traveling here is nicer. It's easier to sit 30 minutes on a beautiful scenic road than be sitting 30 minutes in bumper to bumper traffic. So even despite having the kupot in town for specialized services, it does require some travel. There are talks of building a hospital in town or near town. Currently, the nearest hospital is Tzvat, and the second nearest is Poria outside Tveria. But they would like to see a hospital in town. And as Ari touched upon, there is a large aging population here in Katzrin. So in all likelihood, if there's a hospital built in town, it will have a geriatric focus.
how many Anglo families would you say there are now in Katzrin? Anybody know?
No, I lost count.
Esther, I can't hear you.
I lost count. I don't know.
We're probably 1% of the population in town. So Katzrin was at the last census, I believe around 9,000 people, or 9,000 people. I think we've grown at this point. No,
8,300. 8,300.
8,300.
Oh, 8,300. Okay. I'm pretty close. So we're growing exponentially. And I believe the Russian speaking population is about a third of the community, and we're about 1%. We're easily over 50 families at this point.
Okay. Has everybody spoken that was signed up to speak? Was there anybody that want to say anything more? Esther Bergnoff, I don't know your husband's name. I'm sorry. I can't hear you.
Hugh.
Okay, Hugh.
Yes.
Okay, hi, pleased to meet you. Thank you for coming on. And you guys now are living in, where are you now, in Florida? Where did you say you were?
No, we're in New Jersey and in Katzrin.
Okay, so when you're coming home,
September.
Yeah, before the Chagim.
what's the weather like? Also very hot there now.
It's warm.
No, it's nice. Perfect.
Nice.
Really.
Okay, let's talk about the weather in Katzrin.
It's perfect.
It's good.
But we're not there in the heat of the summer. So we can stay.
Is it as hot as Tiberias?
It's
No,
better
no.
than Tveria. It's better than Tveria. It's not that great though, because the elevation is only about 400 meters. So so it's better than Tveria, but it's not as nice as Yerushalayim, let's say.
Not as cool. I like hot weather, so maybe I'll come live in Katzrin. But in terms of like the children, do the kids all, when new Anglos, like families come in, is there some kind of welcoming committee for people that are moving to the neighborhood?
No.
There is.
Yes,
We have a welcoming
I try to reach out. Esther,
Well,
you
we
want to
have an
speak?
official welcoming committee.
You're welcome to say what you want. You're not muted.
Esther,
Katzrin
speak a
has
little bit louder. I can't hear you so well.
I'm gonna unplug
Sorry.
my headset, see if you can hear me.
Sorry.
Maybe you can hear me now. We have an official welcoming committee that's run through Katzrin. I am on the committee, and there are very few English speakers on the committee. But we get a list of new people every single week, and 2 to 3, sometimes up to 5 families go and welcome each family that arrives. It's a concerted effort. And people are often assigned a buddy family through Katzrin, and we all try to help out.
And is there an Orpan?
You do have to speak with the Misrata Klita representative.
Okay, no, just wondering if there was actually a service or you have to go into another town to go to Orpan classes.
We actually have 2 opening now.
We have 2?
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. So what I want to do is
I'll add that I received a welcome basket from the welcoming committee when we first moved to town, and it was the nicest thing. There was a bottle of wine from the winery. There were games for the kids. We felt very loved and very welcomed when we came to town, and I try to pay that forward. Whenever I hear of a new family coming to town, I inquire to see if they have school-age kids. I try to help them understand the school system in town, to get them registered, to see what other needs they may have, connect them with other resources in the community. It's a very warm and welcoming community. And we recently opened up a second community center. So in addition to the public matnas, we also have a privately run community center with lots of chogim that's run by 2 Anglo women. And there you can find an advanced ulpan as well. So every fall we have there's ulpan, which you have to register through our Klita department, which I coordinate with closely. And then if you find that your level is above that, you have an option of going to the advanced ulpan, which is not subsidized for Olim. It's a private cost. Or these days everything is online. You can always find a higher level online that would be subsidized as an Olim.
That's great. Sounds amazing. So what I want to do is I want to hand over to Marcy. Hi, Marcy. Do you unmute yourself?
Hi.
And introduce Marcy as well. Marcy's going to do a little introduction, but Marcy runs our north of Israel. Basically, she covers all our real estate opportunities in the north of Israel. And she has recently been looking into Katzrin for us, for many people who are looking to come, for families that are looking to make aliyah. So she's going to share about her experience and a little bit about who she is. And also, I think David, her husband, is on the call as well. And they run an amazing organization called Aliyah Network. And for those of you who are new on the call, they can be found on Facebook. We have also a WhatsApp group, and it's just an amazing online support system for people who are wanting to make Aliyah. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Marcy.
Thank you, Kim. So I am really excited to talk about Katzrin tonight because I've had so many inquiries, and before I felt comfortable even speaking about it, I wanted to come out and visit. And I took a trip out there, and it is absolutely beautiful. I was really kind of blown away. I had a feeling it was going to be pretty. I didn't know what to expect, but it is such a charming little town. It has like a real charm to it. I went out with my husband, we went to a cafe, and it was just quaint. And I looked around, there is a supermarket there. If you want more, you can do online shopping, or as the other locals have said, you can drive out. And there is enough to buy. There's a sneaker store. We just went in because we were curious. He actually had a fabulous selection. So it's way up north, but like I felt like it had a lot. And you know what, where I'm in Malot, and you know, we also sometimes have to travel out for something, so I'm kind of used to that. But I have to say, it is such a beautiful place and just so quaint and charming. It just felt really nice being there, and it was very nice meeting you, Esther. So going forward, I'm going to speak a little bit about real estate because I've had so many calls, so many people have been interested in Katzrin, and I'll just share a little bit with you. Give me a second, guys. Okay, I'm back. Right, so here's just a little map of Israel. You can see Katzrin is right here. Tzfat, as you can see, I think is about 40 minutes away. Here's the northern side of the Kinneret. And this is the center of Katzrin. I just thought it was so beautiful. I just want, for those who are considering it and may live in the United States or even somewhere else in Israel, it's nice to get a visual of the town. So this is just, it looks so lively. Okay, so now real estate, since you guys are curious, there are rentals in Katzrin, and rentals, I would say a 3-room apartment would cost you between 2,400 to 3,000 shekels, and depending if that would have a garden or not a garden, that would explain the difference in price between 24 to 3,000. 4 rooms between 3,000 to 3,500. Again, difference could be if you have a garden, a house, an apartment, and there is some land for sale if you'd like to build your own home, and that would be between 800,000 to 1,000,000 shekels for about a half a dunam of land. And a dunam is 500 square meters, about 500 square meters. Okay, just to give you a sample of what you can expect in Katzrin, just for an example, a 3-room house, it's 75 square meters. This house, as you can see in the picture, has a beautiful garden, lots of fruit trees. A small house like this is for sale at 1.2 million shekels. It has, like I said, an amazing garden, and there are building rights to add on to it.
Wait, that house is on my street. That one's for sale?
Yes, it is. So you'd have a great neighbor. It comes with a bonus.
Okay. Good to know.
No extra charge. Here's just another quick shot of that house. And this is just to give you guys an idea of what's out there and, just a visual as well of what to expect. Okay, here's another home not far from Esther.
I love the little alien in the tree. That's hilarious.
I know, isn't he cute? So this house is a standalone home. It's a 1.6 million shekel, and it's 7 rooms, 2 floors. It's a 240-meter house with a large yard. This house is actually set up to be split into 2 apartments. So if you're looking for an investment, you can rent out half, or you can even just use it as an Airbnb, a simmer, and that can bring in a nice income just through the summer months. Okay, these are just a few shots of the garden, a little bit of the kitchen, just giving you ideas of what to expect. There are apartments available as well. This is just a quick shot here of a 4-room apartment, 115 square meters, and that's 750,000 shekel. In Katzrin, you can find something pretty much, I usually say this about Malo, but I'm going to say it about Katzrin, you can find something for every budget. Okay, this is not Katzrin, but it's right nearby. Since I've had also a lot of requests about more moshavim and open space. So this is an area which is about 8-minute drive from Katzrin. It's called Moshav Aniyam. This is a beautiful home. Now, for all those, I've had so many calls for people asking for just a space where they can have a small chicken coop, maybe a goat, maybe a couple of animals, and grow their own vegetables. A house like this and a small moshav up north is perfect. So this house here is 3 million shekel. It's 1 dunam of land, and the house is 162 square meters. Okay, you could just see the open land here, which is absolutely amazing. This particular house has building rights as well for its simmer and a swimming pool. Just another shot. And as I left Katzrin, I just had to take a few pictures of the beauty. You can see the northern side of the Kinneret. I'm not sure how clear it came out in my picture, but I just want to show you, like I said, just give you more of a visual. You can see there's lots of greenery here. Some nice wild flowers growing on the way out. Just so beautiful. I just had to take a few pictures, and that's my information. Okay. I'm gonna get back on the video here.
You just close it on the top. Great.
So if anybody has any questions, feel free to, ask. And before I forget, I just want to say Happy Father's Day to all those celebrating.
Thank you. And Marcy, you were blown away. Marcy goes on all these adventures, and I'm like, you've got to go check this place out. You got to check this place out. So I'm very jealous that you get to see all these beautiful places. I was on a kibbutz up north about 25 years ago. That's when I visited Katzrin and the whole area of the Golan, which is just so stunning and gorgeous. And I think because of Corona now, a lot of people are looking for opportunities where there is more land available and where they can build their own houses. So that's, the reason why we're trying to find opportunities for people who are looking to come and be part of a community. And I say this for those of you joining me for the first time on these calls, I say that a house is just 4 walls, but when you find your community, that's really when you find your home. And we really hope that we try and showcase, as I said before, people who love living in the area that they're living in. And if any of you who spoke tonight would share your information and you're okay with us giving it out to people on the call, please send me a WhatsApp privately. I'll put my email address. I think some of you may have it already, my phone number on the chat, but I want to open up for questions. So if anybody would like to unmute themselves and ask.
I have a question. I'm just curious, as we spoke before about a welcoming committee, is there like an Anglo WhatsApp group or Facebook group or somehow for Anglos to connect? Are there any shiurim or any events for Anglos?
Anyone?
No one wants to jump in?
We have a Facebook group where the English speakers, kind of connect there, but I don't think there's a general community WhatsApp group. And, there are smaller WhatsApp groups that people make. But people generally have everybody's phone numbers. It's really easy. We just kind of make sure everybody knows how to reach everybody, and we all reach out to each other.
The WhatsApp group, not the WhatsApp group, I'm sorry, the Facebook group, which Esther, I think, was a crucial part in starting, is very comprehensive. And there are general shurim throughout the community in English and in Hebrew.
Okay, that's good to know. Because if a new Ola comes to town, or even not so new Ola, but moves, up north, sometimes they feel kind of lost and they're just like looking to make new friends or connect with others.
We're a very small, tight-knit community. Like Ari and Esther said, we're 8,000 people, a few, maybe 100 of us are English speakers. So whenever there's a new English speaking family in town, we all know them, we all make an effort to reach out, and they very quickly find their niche within the community.
I don't know if this was asked before, and please forgive me if it was, but are people that are living in Katzrin, are they working in Katzrin or are they commuting out?
There's a really big mix. Larry said he commutes out. And like I said, we run a business flat, so that requires the commute. But there are plenty of people who work here and who work locally, like Karen said, she works for Misrad HaChinuch. There are plenty of others who work for Misrad HaChinuch or for Kupot Cholim or for any of the companies in the Ezor Tasiya, or they own their own shops or businesses. It's a big mix, but it is an issue, like finding jobs that are the right jobs with the right kind of salary can be a challenge. It's something to keep in mind.
There's also an increasing number of people who work online. So that's really a pretty sweet deal if you can do that. And you can, of course, live anywhere. And then Katzrin is a pretty natural choice.
I will say
I
that
wanted
one
to
of the
bring that up.
reasons we moved to the Golan, my husband was able to rearrange his work so that he was able to do it online. That's one of the reasons we were able to move up here. And I find more and more with the Anglo families that are moving to town, at least one of the couple, someone in the couple works online.
I think post-COVID, there has been a lot more remote work. So which opens up a lot more opportunities for people to live anywhere they want.
Yeah, I think that's what COVID showed us, that we don't have to be geographically located really to work anywhere. So,
which explains, it also in part explains the rise in housing prices recently in Katzrin.
Karen, we spoke about this earlier, and I just want to stress to everybody that our intention is not here to start, encouraging people just to invest in Katzrin and make the prices go up. That's not the intention. Our platform is really for people who are looking to move to a community in Israel, whether it's now or in the future. So
correct.
And
correct,
just
but I
also,
just wanted to point out that if people were looking at Yad Stein maybe a year or two ago, and now we're looking at Yad Stein, they might have seen a rise in prices that can be pretty steep, and that's is for the whole country in general.
Absolutely.
But in part in Katzrin, it has been because a lot of people are suddenly able to realize their dreams of moving to the Golan, in part because they are able to work from home.
Yeah, so it's not just Katzrin that's seen a rise, it's absolutely everywhere in Israel. And it's, people are saying to me, Kim, do you think the bubble's going to burst? Do you think the bubble's going to burst? To be honest, I don't think the bubble's going to burst, but I do think if there are opportunities, one needs to grab them as soon as possible. And that's just what's going on all over Israel right now. Jerusalem prices are absolutely insane. Tel Aviv's crazy. Netanya's crazy. Renana's crazy. There are still, however, places that you can, people can afford still to buy. So that's our one of my jobs. I feel very responsible is to try and find affordable housing opportunities for everybody. And that's really what we're trying to do here. So I thank every single person for coming on the call. We have a YouTube channel under Kim Bash Real Estate, and it's called Find Me a Community in Israel. And we've done several webinars from finding, your community, to buying homes in Israel, to teenagers living in Israel, retirees living here, the best places for people to move to. Any of our team are here to help you with any questions. Izzy, do you want to introduce yourself?
If I could unmute myself, sure. Good evening, everyone. I'll put my other earbud in just in case the mic's on that one. Anyway, now this was very enlightening. I would have loved if people are still interested, just to if the speakers could give a word of advice. What would they share with the 18 participants still on, and we'll be recording this in perpetuity. So in terms of all, the thing about people who got there years ago and being pioneers is that you share, and it's easier for the next people who are coming in. If you could share a piece of advice for people interested in moving to Katzrin, it would be, I would love for people to take advantage of all the wisdom that you can impart on us. I personally represent Kim's team in the Merkaz in the central area, and the benefit of these communities as we do them is that we're making people more aware, but as the communities grow, you'll get more services as well. So it's a give and take as well. So right now, Katzrin is really no longer a well-kept secret, but the reality is that whatever you're lacking now, as communities grow, hopefully some of the good things about communities growing would be benefited by well. So anyway, I'm here to help in any way I can, as well as being part of Kim's team. And if you find folks have put your stake in the ground earlier in the Katzrin story, perhaps can impart some thoughts, wisdom, recommendations for the newbies who are interested in moving in, perhaps you can share some wisdom for us.
Ari, what about you first? You and your lovely wife.
You want to add anything? So I would say, first of all, come and check it out. Okay, it's good to stay for Shabbat or a few days during the week. Get an impression, get an impression of the atmosphere, the people, the shops, the climate. It's best to come and visit first, of course. And now, besides that, beyond Katzrin, just any place that is relatively peripheral in its location, and it requires a little bit more prep work before you move. You need to kind of get your ducks in order. You need to know where you're going, as far as your job, employment prospects, as far as whether you want to build or buy a place. Sometimes it's for people making aliyah, for example, and they have a property in the States. Sometimes it's a very good idea to get a mortgage on the property that they're renting out in the States, and then use that money to buy here in Israel. There are all kinds of tweaks like that that make your way just a lot easier if you think about them in advance. Okay, so that's what my 2 cents are.
That's great
I would
advice.
have to agree with Ari. One of the things that allowed us to settle in Katzrin is that we set up our parnasa in a way that we could live here. That I work for the local Ministry of Education. I also work consulting families on schools in other parts of the country. My husband works from home, US hours. So there's small sacrifices that you make to ensure that you have a stable parnasa when you come to Katzrin can go a long way. And for those interested in getting plots and having animals and all of that, there's a lot of really great yeshuvim outside of Katzrin that are having mechazim that are slowly being snatched up. But Katzrin is a great first spot to rent and to get a feel for the Golan and see if it's really doable for you before you commit yourself to living an even more remote lifestyle.
Esther and Hugh, you want to say a final thought?
I don't know if my internet connection is good enough for it, but my final thought is Katzrin is not for everybody, but it is for a lot of people. And I'd be happy to speak with anybody who has questions and wants to get more info. I don't think anybody should make a spur of the moment decision.
Thank you, Esther. And please put all your, anybody who, has a service they offer in Katzrin, Esther, put down all your information. Karen, please put down yours. We're happy to support the community, and we want to encourage people, especially this summer. Since Israel's opened up now and everybody's traveling again, I'm sure that many people are going to want to come up to Katzrin. So please put down all your information, and I'd love to connect people to everybody. Sorry, Esther and Hugh.
Yeah, I was just going to say that you really need to assess what you need, what your needs are, because in Katzrin, you're certainly not going to have certain things. You're not going to have a lot of cultural opportunities. You're not going to have a lot of shopping variety. You have to assess what it is that you care about and see if Katzrin suits your needs. The other thing is that for retirees, Israel Living, if you're able to get a house that's affordable, Israel Living is not as expensive as in America. The costs are not as, especially if you live a fairly modest lifestyle, which we do. So it's really, it shouldn't be so much a financial decision because most places where you live would probably be more expensive outside of housing. And if you look at housing, everybody's talking about the new houses and building your own house. But, some of the people from the older houses are moving to the newer neighborhoods. So that's probably an opportunity for the houses that are being left to, for people to move elsewhere. So that's something to think about also. I imagine the existing houses are probably not as inflated as the brand new stuff.
Thank you so much. And I really appreciate everybody's time. Please feel free to reach out to us, and we will probably do another community call on another area in about 2 weeks' time. And for those of you who want to check out the channel, it's under Kim Bash, under Famia Community in Israel, and we're on Instagram and on Facebook. And I always say to people, when you're buying in Israel or coming to live in Israel, this is a spiritual and emotional investment. So that's really what it is. This is, I believe very strongly that Israel, there's a place for every single person in Israel. And we hope to help you navigate that and find your home in Israel. So I thank every single person coming on, and I hope to make it up to Katzrin. And if any of you come to the old city, Jerusalem, you're welcome to come and say hi. And I look forward to meeting some of you. So thank you so much. Thank you, everybody, and have a good night. And
Thank you,
take
Kim.
care. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
God bless. Thank you. And I'm going to stay on for a little bit of time. So if anybody wants to schmooze with me and have a few minutes to ask questions privately, you're more than welcome. Or stay on. I'm going to stay on for a few more minutes.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye. Thanks a lot.
Bye. Rita, where are you from? You need to unmute yourself. Let's see if she can unmute herself.
Karen, can I ask you a question about the special ed?
Sure, yeah.
I just had someone call me the other day. She has, I think, a 4-year-old who needs special
Okay.
ed. She was interested in Katzrin. I'm not sure, maybe her child was on the spectrum.
Okay.
Yeah, are there specific schools for that, or would he be bussed out, this kind of child?
It really, so in all likelihood, the child would be bussed out. It really depends on what the special need is. A 4-year-old on the spectrum is going to have a gun tikshoret here in Katzrin. But when it comes to elementary school, in all likelihood, the child will need to seek out a kita tikshoret, which will be available. I think they only have kita ktana in Chistin, so they will probably have to go to the Galil Elyon for a kita tikshoret. I know
how far of a commute would that be for?
Galil Elyon is as close. What Ari was saying is Chatzor Glilit, Rosh Pina, Kiryat Shmona, so anywhere between 25 minutes to an hour, depending on where they're going. And I know our superintendent, the head of the Machleket Chinuch, would really love to have a more specialized special needs school here in Katzrin.
Oh, that'd be great.
So that's something to think about down the road. But for now, for the time being, we can accommodate gun age kids, but once they hit elementary school, they are bussed out.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Marcy, I'll give you Karen's number, okay? So you can pass on to this lady who inquired. Rita, sorry,
Thank you so much
hi.
for putting this together.
Thanks,
Hi.
you're amazing, Karen. Really a wealth of information, and you represent the
Thank you.
community so beautifully and authentically.
Thank
So I really appreciate it. I hope that we can work together. I will be in touch and send you anybody who's looking to come with children.
Sounds wonderful. Sounds great.
Thank you so
Okay,
much.
have a good night.
Okay. Good
Take
night.
care.
Thank you, Cole.
Thank you.
Hi,
Thank you.
Rita.
Thank you.
Where are you from, Rita?
I'm from Brooklyn. 2 days ago, I came back from Israel. I was almost 3 weeks in Israel. And I was in the Carmel. I think that's almost similar area with the Katzrin. What can you tell me with the climate, but probably it's more mountain over there. That's what I want to see in your place now. Probably it's more flat. Carmel is very nice, but so much climbing I need to do on the streets, on all overs. I just love Israel so much. And I was in many places. I am thinking about the Givat Olga near Hadera. See how big difference. What can you tell me about the Givat Olga, the prices
Givat
compared?
Olga? Givat
Yes.
Olga is going to be much more expensive than
Much.
Katzrin, much more. Hadera, that Givat Olga or Akiva area is booming now. So it's very, very expensive. But I can talk to you if you want to send me a WhatsApp. Are you on WhatsApp, Rita?
Yes, I'm on WhatsApp. Even I
So-
tried to call you when I was there, but I need to leave a message. I don't know. It's
Really?
so
And I didn't get, okay. You know what? Send me your number. I'll get the number from our Zoom and I'll send you a message on WhatsApp. Okay. And then you reply back to me.
Okay, we'll see. But now I got an answer. You said that Givat Olga is much more expensive than Katzrin, right?
It is more expensive. It's very up and coming. Givat Olga, Givat, all that whole area, Hadera. It depends on where you want to be. And again, it depends if you want to rent or you want to buy.
If to buy, that's rental. I think that could be a little close to each other. But to
So
buy,
you're looking at about, I'm not going to go on this call because there's still a few people on, but about, I would say about 2.4, 2.5 million shekels for a 3-bedroom apartment in
Where?
Hadera area, Givat Olga or Akiva area.
and the same, how much would be in Katzrin?
I'm not an expert, but I'd probably say about 1 million shekels less.
That sounds
Yeah,
about
I
accurate.
heard what you said. Yes, I heard what you
But
said.
again, you know what I always say to people, it's got to fit for you. It's no good being in an area that's less expensive and you don't fit into the community or you don't find what you're looking for. So rather go for a smaller apartment or rent somewhere for the year before you make that commitment of where you're going to be. Because I mean, I would say for you as well that there's a great community in Netanya that's fabulous. It is expensive though. I think Hadera is up and coming. I think Naharia is up and coming. I think you'll have more of a social life. I think that Katzrin is probably still developing, and I don't think there's enough. You would necessarily have much to do there. So if you're a person that wants to, maybe have more friends and be part of, I don't think Katzrin could fit maybe the bill. I don't know. We'd have to talk more about it. Maybe from a price point, but not necessarily from a community.
Okay.
But I'm
Rita,
happy
come
to
and
have a
visit
one-on-one.
us.
What
Come
do you
and visit us and see what you think.
Yeah, I would say not no. I would say definitely go and have a look. It's definitely an opportunity not to be missed. It just depends on your goal. I always say to people, what's the goal? And what kind of lifestyle do you want? Like for me, I'm very a city girl. So Katzrin for me would be like, I think I could probably last a day or 2 days. And then I'll be like, where are the people? Where are the people? But I do live in
We do have a growing active over 50 community. They meet at the culture center several mornings a week. There's also a mifal pais where they meet. So there is a small community, and depending on what languages you speak, you might find that you have more of a community or less of a community. It's growing, just like every other aspect of Katzrin.
That's great. Oh, Karen, that's great to know. Sorry, maybe I missed because somebody had said it's not for senior population. So I thought maybe there was a
for healthcare. It can be very difficult. For healthcare, if you need specialized care, you need to schlep to Tzvat or Tveria to the hospitals, or you can go to Kiryat Shmone. But that also is changing, and hopefully in the coming years we'll have more availability here in Katzrin.
If you want greenery and you like that kind of the green in the space and the air there is very different to anywhere else. It's just you can breathe properly. The pollution is much less than anywhere else. It's beautiful. It really is beautiful. So I'm happy we can talk privately. We'll be in touch.
Okay.
Deborah, you had a mess. You said you couldn't unmute yourself.
Just messaged her.
You messaged
she
her?
had a question about education, and I messaged her. Hopefully she'll be able to reach out privately.
Great. So Laila Tov, everybody. I really appreciate
it. Thanks again,
time.
Kim. Thanks,
Karen, you're awesome. Thank you so much.
Have a good night. Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye. Good night.
Bye.
Thank you.